getting short on parts, I'm going to try to do some stuff in the meantime to make up some time and do some prep work. This is a front crossmember from Sky's Off-Road Design as well. This came off of a frame that I may have mentioned before. I bought it off a guy like a year and a half ago in prep for this project. Ended up seeing it. What I didn't like about it was, if this is the bottom of the frame, how steep the offset is down here to the bottom eye. And of course, the taller that is, the more lift you're getting out of the truck. It's approximately 4 3/4. I don't want the truck to sit very tall, so I need that to be shorter. Well, I confirmed with the company that this is their extended version, which just has a 2-inch farther drop in the eye. If I was to take this and drill that eye 2 inches up and trim all the rest of this off, it is no different than their standard Toyota full-size width front hanger, which I started considering to buy. The reason I want to buy it mostly at this point is to save time. Originally I said I was going to do my entirely own hangers in the front, but at this point I'm getting a little bit kind of tired of waiting, which they're working with me, so patience. But if I do this part, I can really kind of save myself some time in the long run. I don't have to worry about these two sides being in a line with one another. I can clamp the entire piece up against the frame and move it forward and back as needed to get the spring arch and shackle angle I want at ride height. So the problem with this though is this still has a front crossmember welded to it. Like I said, this is essentially a front of a Tacoma frame. So if I set this up this way, you can see still has the cab mounts. This is the front of the frame horn on each side. Frame horn, cab mount. Those would match what this looks like on the truck still. Front of the frame horn, cab mount, bumper mounts. So instead of trying to buy another one, which to buy this, which is like 140, 150 bucks plus shipping from there to where I am, it's like 180, 190 out the door. And I'm not doing anything other than waiting, and I have a plasma cutter at my disposal. So I'm thinking about taking the plasma cutter and cutting just above this weld, which it's a lot, all the way around and seeing if I can knock all this portion off. Including maybe, I don't know, I might shorten this guy just a little bit, but that remains to be seen. So I think in the meantime, I'm going to start working on getting that cut apart. In addition to getting that front cross member from that frame, I also got a template basically off of it. The frame that the guy had a Trail Gear branded frame stiffener plate on it right there. I copied it with cardboard. Didn't cut those out because they're dependent on the steering box mount on the front of the frame. Did some measuring, found out that 3/16, which is pretty standard to be used, 3/16 by 6 flat stock is just about perfect for the width and size of this template. If you put it flush there, flush at the peak up here, there's enough room to get this thing on there. So if I put this on here and mark it up, I should be able to plasma cut this off and punch the holes in there, and those holes are almost a perfect 1 3/4, and I've got a pretty good 1 3/4 hole saw for metal. I can also get that cut up. Taking the template, laid it out on the steel, traced around it, got it pretty close. There's some waviness in these lines. I'm going to use a straight edge to try to straighten them up to a best fit line. Got the plasma cutter here, so should be able to just burn right through this stuff. Got this frame stiffener plate cleaned up about as good as I think I'm going to get it. I'm going to take it over to the the drill press, and try to drill out the two holes marked in it before I clean those up. So I'll move this thing over to the drill press in the back. Now I'm going to drill out these holes on the frame stiffener. Got an 1 3/4 hole saw. Lennox brand works great. Cuts good. Gonna cut holes here and here. I've set a caliper just to half the measurement, and I'm putting it on the edges of these markings and scribing a line in a few spots. Just like that. To give me a pretty good marking of center. Go ahead and drill them out with a smaller pilot bit. Now I've got my pilot holes drilled. Put a block of wood under this so it can pass into it, and drill them out. Got those 2 holes drilled. Not too bad a looking template. Throw it back up there. You see it's a little bit larger. Edges got a little bit more material. Top and bottom. I left this corner, like I said, might want to chop out depending on where one of those buckets lands on the frame. My holes are a little bit bigger, but that is totally fine. I left these 2. I don't even remember what that means. That one or that one, I think it was. I don't know. I think we're going to call that good today on this frame stiffener. It's in pretty good form at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and set that aside on the back of the truck's parts pile. And I think the next thing I'm going to start tackling here is trying to run the plasma cutter just above these welds. This one's going to take a while. Try to cut everything off of this lower one without hurting it. God, call me cheap if you want, but I got it in front of me. It's a lot cheaper to me to drill 2 new holes on each side, shorten the ears so it's shorter, and cut all this off, and just spend almost $200. So, whatever. Side note, I wish it didn't say Sky Off-Road Design. Could probably cut this out and like put a nice webbed gusset in there or something. That'd be cool. But I wish it was solid, because then if I had to mount something to it, I could just drill a hole, weld a nut through the back side or something like that, and I could mount to it. But for what it is, it should work. Let me just see if I can get it cleaned up. I'm hoping this goes well. If it falls all to pieces, I may end up having to buy one anyways. So I'll get started on that. I got most of the portions cut off of it, as you can see. Looks okay, but the problem is this elevation here, all the way through here, and here all needs to be the same. This portion in here is the bottom of the 2x3 tube, kind of like that tube there, that was welded, vertical here. So I still got to get this tube off. I got to get it all down to that equal height. So all of this has got to get down. I'm not going to do any recording on this. That's just going to be, it's tedious, man. It's not going to be good video either. I'm probably going to just grind along this weld until I can get a chisel into there and start prying it up and break off that weld in the back. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to grind all of those welds all the way down. That's ridiculous. I'll be here all dang day. I'll see what I can do. I'm going to try to put a hurting on it pretty quick and see if it makes progress. I might bust out the air hammer, but I don't think I'm going to record this portion. If I get to any significant part, I will update, but I think it's just going to be a lot of work. So, alright, I'm going to get started on it.
Alright, it's almost the end of the day. Getting a little dark in the skies. I've probably been working on this probably 5-6 hours a day. Call me crazy, but I get to save almost $200, so whatever. This is where I'm going to stop. Managed to get all the plating off where the original frame rails were on both sides, there and there. Come on, focus. There was that 2x3 vertical right there that's gone. As you can see, all I got left is where they had some gussets for welds, welds around the frame, welds for that 2x3. Just got to grind it all flat. I mean, I've done it there. Looks nice. Pretty smooth. And I got this one done, but I think I'm done for the day. Gonna clean up my mess. I'll hop back onto it, I don't know, maybe in a day or two. Yeah, see if I can make some more progress on another day.
Alright, it's another day. Time to finish grinding on the front cross member. Just gonna be a tedious bit of grinding. Get to it. Alright, got this thing looking pretty good. Nice and cleaned up, flush and flat. A couple hours labor. Saves me a few bucks, and that's alright with me. What I still have to do is from the top here down to this is 4 3/4 inches. It needs to be the original one that's a standard length. Like I said, this is the extended from Sky's Off-Road. The standard length one is 2 3/4 inches. So if I move this up 2 inches and re-drill it with I think it's a 9/16, I should be good. Then I can just chop this off, re-round this edge here and here with the grinder, sort of how it looks down here. And it'll be good to go. So for now, nice and flat. Everything's the same level. Looks pretty good. Here is the front hanger mocked up on the frame. Super temporary, just to see what it looks like. No idea where it's placed, left to right, front to back. It doesn't matter yet. I did not drill the second hole yet, as I mentioned. I think I'm going to wait a little bit. I might do a mock-up soon with the springs I have. I think the springs I have are going to be too short. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. But for now, I think this is where I'm going to stop on the hangers. They're not finished. I'll get to them at some point. And one of the next things I'm going to try to do is probably work on building the axle, kind of assembling it, not to the fullest extent, mostly hub assembly, brakes, bearings, probably clean up the lockouts, and just kind of prep to have the axle underneath the truck, even if I still have a little bit of welding maybe for pinion angle or spring mounts. But I think that's where I'm going to stop for now on this one. Even if it wasn't super eventful, it's just a lot of grinding and cutting. Hopefully some more exciting stuff to come, but you know, one step at a time. So until next time.